What is up, Stud Squad? It is I, Logan, and today we are going to be getting into our LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars set ideas. Now, for those of you who don't know, The Clone Wars is a great show. I don't need to explain anymore. But with that said, please remember to subscribe since over 70% of you are not. Please do it. We're so close to 12,000 subs, and let's get into it. Now, first up at number 10, we have the Battle of an Axis. Now, this would be a set, I think it would come with, Mace Windu, Commander Cody, Obi-Wan, maybe one of Mace Windu's troopers, and 2 battle droids. It would almost be like a File Force Battle Pack style type build. And I think, a really cool thing would be for LEGO to kind of go custom with this, and maybe set up a nice command post for, Mace Windu or a clone to command. We have Cody and Obi-Wan on the front lines. You can even have the big bomb that was supposed to explode that was on an Axis. That would be a really cool build, and maybe we'd have crates or command posts, and all of that would be super cool. Let's move into number 9. Now, at number 9, I would have, from Season 5, Ahsoka Tano's Prison Break. Now, this, in my opinion, I think would be best if it came with a modern Clone Wars Season 5 Ahsoka, as well as a Coruscant Guard Trooper in the 2020 style. Maybe he'd have some sort of riot, guard shield, and also a Commander Fox in his Phase 2 variant. Now, it would probably most likely be a prison build, and when I think to a thing that's a good representation of what it would look like a bit, I go to think of the Han Solo Carbon Freezing Chamber. Just that type of a build feels like that would look like a good prison, at least the underside of it. Obviously, you're not, doing that much stuff with it. And I think the main feature would be probably being able to open the doors with the Force or something. You press a button and doors open. Now, there would also be a little hallway maybe on the outside. There's not that many concepts of a set like this, but I think it would be super cool. I'll show you some pictures probably from the show of her in the prison cell. I just think it would be a super neat set. Maybe give her a lightsaber. I don't know. Now, at number 8, we would have Commando Gregor's Last Stand. Now, I think this would be a great set. I think $40 to $50. You could get in this Colonel Meeber Gascon with his R4 droid that maybe he could sit in or stand on top of. You'd obviously get Clone Commando Gregor, and you'd also get R2 because, you have to include R2 in here, as well as 2 battle droids. I think that's most realistic. I don't think they'd go any more than 6 figures for this. But the builds would most likely be either crates or the, Rhydonium canisters. I think those would all be cool. I think maybe one of the hauler droids would make sense because LEGO usually likes to do these big build type things. And I think it would just be overly cool. They could really range this price to anywhere from $29.99 to $50 depending on how they do the set. It really, really varies. But I seriously like the idea. I really hope LEGO does it, and let's get into the next one. Now, next up at number 7, we have the Battle on Mortis. Now, this isn't really a battle, it's more just like a fight or whatever, but I think appropriate figures would be the Anakin, the father, the son, and the daughter, and maybe even Evil Ahsoka, depending on how they do the set. And I was having a very hard time coming up with a build for this. They could do, a thing like Darth Vader's castle. I don't think they would. I just don't think they'd make this a big set if they were to do it. The main reason I'm doing this, obviously, is that way we could get the father, son, and daughter in LEGO, which I think would be super neat, and I think that's obviously the main reason I have it here. So the build wasn't exactly important to me. That came secondary. It could have been the father's castle. It could have been the catechism that they went down, or it even could be, the Jedi shuttle that they were flying, which we haven't gotten in LEGO. And, they could just kind of be standing around that in the same way that we've had other sets with the same type of a thing. Anywhere from $120 to $130, but this would be from Season 3, the Citadel arc. Now, this would look a lot like the Darth Vader's castle set. Now, first off, I think a prison would look sick. We'd have maybe, one of those interrogation-type rooms where they're electrifying even Peel. I think that would be great. It almost could be where Darth Vader's back-to-tank is in the current set, and, you just kind of switch it out. Because basically, Darth Vader's castle is the same sort of thing as the Citadel, which is interesting. And I think, Command Room would be great to have him in. Maybe he could have one of the hostages in there, or his droids and figures, which I'll get into a second. I think, some ventilation, maybe the clones could crawl through, whatever. And there would just be so much to work with, and it would be great. There would even be, rooms maybe for the clones to, sneak around, in the rock canyon. You'd literally reface Darth Vader's castle and make it look like the Citadel, and you wouldn't even know the difference, and it would look great. Now, I think the figures that would come with this set would be, Sobek, the little commander dude, 2 golden commando droids I think would be fair. Maybe they'll come with a hologram for Sobek. I think Tarkin would be appropriate, even Peel or Ahsoka. It could be either or. I don't think it's a big deal. And obviously Echo. I think we had to include a clone somewhere in here. Or maybe you'd have other prisoners. It really varies. I think those would just be the most appropriate essential figures. Maybe you get a secondary set with all your other ones in some sort of way. But I also, in the Darth Vader's castle, it came with Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, so I think as a substitute for that, maybe you do like a crab droid, which would be pretty cool. But overall, like the idea a lot. Tell me what you guys think about that one. That one I'm probably very proud of. But let's move into number 5. Now, number 5 is a variation of a set we have already gotten. This is the Separatist MTT. Now, we've already gotten the MTT like 3 times over. They're all the brown turd looking things, but this one would be the blue and gray version. Now, I think this would be like the one that takes place over Ryloth, over the Ryloth Bridge, and I think the perfect figures for this would be Mace Windu, a Chamson Dulo, finally, an ARF Trooper, and maybe Wat Tambor. I was thinking maybe him. You could swap him out with the ARF Trooper or whatever, and 12 battle droids, just to load up the MTT and man it, and maybe have 1 or 2 on the ground. You can't have an MTT without a good chunk of battle droids. But I think this would be a perfect figure selection. I think, again, maybe $120, $110 would be in the perfect price range. I think 120 is more perfect because that's around where the Razor Crest is. And I just love to see this set, especially Chamson Dula and Wat Tambor would be great to get in LEGO. You know, Wat Tambor adding to our Separatist alliance. We'd have Poggle, Wat Tambor, and Nute Gunray, and then we'll just keep adding to that from there. But let's move into number 4. Now, number 4 is a fairly obvious one. I don't think anyone expected of me not to put this here, but for around $50, it would be the Umbaran Starfighter from the Clone Wars Umbaran Arc Season 4. Now, I think the no-brainer figures for this would be Hardcase, a 501st Trooper, and 2 Umbarans. Now, if they're pushing their luck, then they could throw in Kicks, which I think would be great, but they probably only do one name character, and I think Hardcase would make the most sense, or other clones who piloted the ship. Now, I include 2 Umbarans because you could have 1 Umbaran flying the ship, 1 on the ground fighting Hardcase and the 501st Trooper, or you could have Hardcase flying the ship and the clones are fighting down on the ground, which would be cool. I'd like to see Hardcase, fly a ship, and I'd love to see Hardcase in a set. I'd also love to see LEGO's interpretation for the minigun type build. We kind of have seen it, but not in the way, that we'd like. So I'd really like to see that. Maybe they do a new mold even. I don't know. But I'd love to see Hardcase and LEGO in his new 2020 style. Now that we've gotten him before. But let's move into number 3. Now, next up at number 3, we have a Separatist Shuttle from Season 6 of the Clone Wars. Now, this would be anywhere from, like, $30 to $50. I'd say $50 is where I appropriately think it would go. I think $40 is around where the new TIE Fighter costs, and I don't think that would be the size and scale I want it. But I think it would be cool to get a Spacesuit Anakin, ARC Trooper 5s, a Super Tactical Droid, and a Commando Droid. Now, maybe a Battle Droid would also work, but I think if LEGO is going to be skimpy on these types of things, I think the essentials are Anakin 5s, the Super Tactical Droid, and Commando Droid. Now, this is from the scene where they go to rescue Tup from the shuttle. Basically, you would have the droid have the ability to man the ship in the front. You would have the Super Tactical Droid, just chill in the back since he was the bad guy. And you could also have Anakin and 5s grapple on. I know Rex and a bunch of other droids were there, but this is LEGO, so they like to cheap out on us when it comes to this. But I think a cool feature would be, obviously, other than the landing stilts, a grappling hook for 5s to catch onto the ship with. I just love that. And also, this would be our first chance that we get ARC Trooper 5s. I know we're getting Echo this summer, so hopefully we'll eventually get 5s. Next up, at number 2. We have Darth Maul's Gauntlet Fighter. Now, I think this would go for $60. We're getting the Bo-Katan version this summer, so this one probably won't come for a bit, but I think it would be great. So basically, the figures for this one would be Darth Maul, Rook, and a Mandalorian Loyalist or 32nd Trooper. Now, the reason I put Rook, she is the little female Mandalorian from the Clone Wars Season 7. Darth Maul, obviously, would probably be the same one that's going to come out this summer in the Ahsoka versus Maul set. And the reason I put Mandalorian Loyalist and 332nd Clone is because we're getting those, and they're just easy throw-ins, and these sets usually have 3 characters. If they're pushing their luck, I would certainly like to see maybe, Captain Vaughn or Jesse in this type of a thing. But that brings us to my number 1 pick. So at number 1, I know you guys all like the sets like the Mos Eisley Cantina. I know you like the sets like the Battle on Hoth for the battle display and the figures and all of that. We had an Assault on Hoth style Siege of Mandalore set. So in this set, it would be great. You'd get a huge Mandalore setup. You have Battlefield. It would be amazing. Or even like Bespin, like you'd have like in sections. I really don't care. But first off, you'd have like Prison Room, and you could have like the drainage pipes that they run through. You could have the main battlefield like in Solid Brick Studios, Mandalore Mock. And it would look absolutely insane. Now, they could go all out with figures. The Cantina came with about 18 figures, and all the other sets came with a bunch of different variety. But Also, a lot of these figures were pre-made, so like I know they usually make at least like 5-6 minifigures for these types of ultimate minifigure sets. So we'll assume that going in. But first off, we'd have an Ahsoka Tano, Darth Maul, Gar Saxon, Bo-Katan, Rook, Jesse, Vaughn, 2 332nd Troopers, Prime Minister Almec, 2 Blue Mandalorians, 3 Darth Maul Mandos, and a 501st Trooper, as well as Captain Rex, which would be a perfect amount to equal the same amount of figures as in the Cantina. Now, this would just be great. You'd have explosion things everywhere, you could have defensive shields, you could have positions, you could have little AT-RT walkers, you could have little Mandalorian speeders, you could have the speeders that Obi-Wan rides in the show. It would be amazing and an all-out battlefield. And I think, you're getting 3 Mandos, you're getting 3 Darth Maul Mandos, you're getting the 2 Blue Mandos, you're getting the 501st Trooper, the 332nd. It would be great. I would love this set. LEGO would never do it. They have yet to do a Master Builder Series Clone Wars set. I've proposed previously we do ones such as like the Battle on Geonosis or other ones or the Jedi Temple in that style, but I don't think those are coming anytime soon. I will say if they did a Jedi Temple, it would probably most likely be in the style of the $500 like Death Star type set, which would be super cool. But yeah, so with that said, give me your thoughts. Do you think they should do an ultimate Siege of Mandalore set? I think they should, and I think it would be absolutely epic. I will see you all in the next one. Tell me your ideas for a cool Clone Wars set down in the comments below, and I will see you all in the next one. Remember, peace out, and stay awesome.